Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Youth Speak. This is our budget special. I'm Sumita Karir and today I'm here at the Bennett University here in Greater Noida. I have with me a bunch of very bright and young kids who are going to be talking to us about how they think this budget is going to be impacting them. What are their expectations of the government, of the finance minister? Remember, we have shown you voices of corporates over the past couple of weeks, over the past couple of days in terms of what their expectations are. But it's equally important to put the spotlight on the youth of the country because the outcome of the budget is going to impact their lives in times to come. All right, so all set? Are we good to go?
Yes.
All right, with that energy levels, let me come to you first. Tell me, what are your basic expectations?
Hello, my name is Ananya Bharat. I'm a second-year mass communication student, and my expectation from the budget would mainly be when it comes to, as a student myself, I am more inclined towards having the budget be allocated towards jobs, employment, internships. So I would require more upskilling from the budget specifically for there to be more schemes as to integrating AI in our education. I feel when it comes to our jobs specifically, a lot of people tend to tell us that AI will take away our jobs. But in my opinion, a person who knows how to use AI much better than someone else will be the person more likely to take my job. So I would require the schemes to be more about integrating AI into my education.
Integrating AI into curriculum, that's a very important point. And of course, sensitizing about AI is also an important point. So while we talk about technology, we will talk about jobs as well. But let's first address, have the previous budgets really sort of, put the spotlight on easing education loans? Would you like to talk about that?
Yes, I believe that government initiatives such as the PM Vidya Lakshmi Yojana, they're really good initiatives and they help the middle class families. Students take part in private institutions like the Bennett University. However, I do believe that the government should be able to introduce better schemes or better programs, or at least promote the programs such as PM Vidya Lakshmi Yojana even more.
Right, so the scope of Vidya Lakshmi Yojana is what this young woman is essentially stating should be increased. What are your expectations?
So basically, I'm a law student.
Okay.
My name is Samriddhi Sahai. And since we are talking about education over here and budget in the field of education, so my expectations would be that the incentives that they are giving for the internship programs, for example, the 5,000 rupees scheme, that scheme has an eligibility of the age criteria 21 years of age to 24 years of age. And for a person in law which has a 5-year degree, our career starts at the age of 23-24. So the eligibility for such internships ends when our career starts. So what does the government has to say about that? How the diversity and integration for our field is to be done in the budget, and in internship programs as well should be seen.
Absolutely. You made a very good point because of the fact that, the government of India essentially has focused on making development or the fruits of development, that they should be inclusive, right? The development should be inclusive and the fruits of the development should be available to all is what the government of India has suggested.
Hello, my name is Kassis. I'm also from law student. Apart from the 5,000 we are talking about, I think 5,000 is a very less amount for a metro cities.
Yes.
If we are like,
What is it that you propose?
I guess they can discuss and with the what type of internship we are doing, they can involve the private sector so that the internship, the person who is interning, they can get the right amount because the living cost is increasing.
Right.
And the income is not up to the mark, right?
Absolutely. You made a very important point about, internship and how the government can sort of, intervene in this matter. Let me take that question across to you. Do you think that the government should sort of foster more industry and educational institutes collaboration so that, internship can be more accessible to youngsters like yourselves who are going to be working for the very first time?
I think government should, make the industries come to universities and make it more accessible for the students to, grab an internship because internship opportunity nowadays are very less. And skills in our generation of students are very high rather than our marks. So government should, foster industries to develop connection between students.
Of course, India has been able to sort of maintain inflation, but we can't really keep ourselves insulated from what's happening globally, right? I mean, there are geopolitical headwinds which have disrupted industries, which has disrupted trade in a very, very big fashion, and which is why the lives of students, of people get impacted. What sort of assistance would you expect from the government as far as mitigating this cost of living crisis, particularly on young professionals like yourselves when you go into the workforce, as far as this particular demographic is concerned? What is it that you have to say on that? Who would like to take that question? Okay.
Yes. Hi, this is Arnav Kapse from first year, Masscom. I would like to say that with respect to the perspective of student loans, what is happening is when you get into a private university like Bennett, we do get education loans, right? But then the interest rates are such that people think twice before enrolling into one. So a mind block has been created that if you want to have a good cost of living going ahead, avoid a private university, or else if you want one, go to someone like BITS, which has a higher return on investment. So I feel if the government prioritizes on at least free loan waivers for some specialized courses which have not yet gained a lot of traction, like a media course which parents think twice before enrolling their students in. So if there are interest loan waivers, people can at least levy down the financial constraint and can push their wards to go and pursue their dreams. So I feel that will improve the cost of living in a very, very significant manner if student loan rates are being corrected.
Okay, so student loan rates need to be corrected, and that is something that, 2-3 students over there from that bunch also spoke about. Let me ask you, let me ask you about, what your feedback has been, when you pursue education, when you talk to your friends, what is the single biggest challenge that you face, and that perhaps could be addressed by the upcoming budget?
Yes, I agree with her totally that cost of living is really high right now, and the 5,000 rupees that we are getting is not enough to support the living conditions right now. And also the tier 3 and tier 4 colleges also, they're not getting enough internship opportunities also. And the student loans, as he mentioned, were also not at good enough interest rates. I think the interest rates need to be lowered,
right,
in order for us to live and get job opportunities and support.
Right. Let me ask you from this front row about the fact that we've already spoken about jobs, etc. We've spoken about education loans, but let me come back to the point about jobs. How many of you here are really worried about what AI is going to do to your jobs? If you could just raise your hands. How many of you are worried?
There is no worry about that.
Is there no concern about AI taking away jobs?
No. The thing is that the people that are concerned about these factors are those who are not educated properly on this subject, and they are not being given opportunity to interact with the...
But then let me also tell you that there is a lot that's being spoken about, AI-ready skills versus the skills that our youth currently has. Now, in this educational institutes, you have the best of the world, right? You have AI skills that are being imparted. You have entrepreneurship as a course here. Right. But I'm talking about tier 2 and 3 towns and cities where they may not, where students in those towns and cities and colleges may not
have a ChatGPT. That is also a very big tool to do many things that are there right now at the industry. We are also using that things, and it's not like that ChatGPT and these tools are only for tier 1 and these that can be excused.
Okay. So you're not really bothered. You are sure that you're going to be getting a job after this. Okay. All right. Let me take your point on that.
I have a point
on job
AI.
creation and employment, and whether the government has prioritized that, and what more needs to be done to sort of prioritize employment and job creation for people like yourselves who are going to be graduating in the next 3 to 4 years.
I have one point relating to AI in this first. We say that AI will take our jobs, but don't we think that AI is not going to take our jobs? But people knowing AI definitely will if we don't know AI.
So upskilling is something that you're referring to?
Yes. Instead of giving access to AI, ethical use for AI should be taught in colleges, and that should be funded.
But my question is, what more needs to be done to sort of upskill people so that their skills are AI ready, their skills are ready for a world that is going to be dominated by AI? What do you think needs to happen for that? Do you think the government should look at that for with priority?
Yes, we can look into giving access to people for trainings, and not only training, equipment access is very necessary for AI and any other skill development. We don't have equipments, we have courses, we have trainings, but equipment's lack is there from the government side. And training is not enough when you don't have an on-hand and on-ground experience in things.
Okay, would you like to say something on that? You don't have a point of view. Okay, yes. Okay.
Government can provide us the subscriptions of
Yes.
some AI websites that are there, and some like LinkedIn that we are using. They can provide us the subscription on the mail ID of Google, or the that we are using university IDs. They can provide us the subscription. That is more helpful for us.
Right.
Hi, my name is Vanshika and I'm from BMC course. I want to say that in every course, AI should be a mandatory subject that हमें उसके बारे में बताया जाए, that how can we use its
That's a very important point,
advantages
yes.
and disadvantages. So it should be like in every course, and be like we should be literate about it. So if you are asking something, or so it shouldn't be harm to us. So this is the point I want to add.
Okay, so that's a very important point that she has made. Yes, you go ahead.
One thing that I would like to talk about is AI. We should update our curriculum. That's the first step I think government should do, because AI is not only about ChatGPT.
Yes.
We have different and number of tools, and if we talk about students that are in foreign, they know more tools, AI tools, and they know how to use it. So I think ChatGPT, AI is not limited to ChatGPT, but number of tools. So government should make awareness about it, that AI is not only limited to one tool only, but a different kind of tools involved.
Right. That's an important point as well. But let me pick from the point that you essentially mentioned about air quality. Now, we talk about infrastructure. We have seen an infrastructure upgrade, and that has increased accessibility for students. That has increased accessibility of quality education. It has sort of ensured connectivity to students as well. But air quality is a major concern. This year, the AQI has sort of crossed all levels. Has that impacted in the number of days that you've attended college, and how much has that impacted, your attendance in schools and colleges? And do you think that should be a priority to look into by the government in this upcoming budget in terms of allocation?
I think it definitely should be a priority that the government looks into, because when it comes to us attending classes, when you look at the kind of AQI that occurs in Delhi and Delhi NCR regions, there have been years where the AQI has exceeded the 500 limit and gone up to 1,000. This is an actual fact. When we're living in a kind of state where these are the kind of things that can happen, the government should anticipate these kind of changes, especially when it comes to the climate. There should be funds allocated towards it, because it heavily impacts our education. Ultimately, it is us students who have to wake up no matter what in the morning, go to our classes despite what the weather might be, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, extreme weathers, the kind of pollution we might encounter. It is our education that is at stake. So there must be funds allocated towards it specifically.
Since you guys talked about jobs, let me also ask you, which areas should the government prioritize as far as job creation is concerned? Now, when we see the world around us, there's been a lot of conflict, right? So defense is one sector where the government is pumping in a lot of money. Then AI is another sector. Deep tech is another sector. Which are the sectors that you guys think that the government should look at with priority when it comes to providing jobs to students like yourselves? Who would like to take that question? Yes, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Janvi. I'm a third-year BTech student from Bennett University. So I think there's not just a single niche the government should look into, because if they give more job opportunities to AI, what about design? What about mass communication? They should have an equal eye to all levels, because right now India is at a stage where every field is booming. Everywhere you see, there is a lot of talent which is getting explored, and there are people who are wonderful at their jobs and what they do. So just assigning a budget to just one area and not at another.
But there will always be some priority sectors over others, right? Depending on what the global needs are and the national needs are. Yes, you want to make a point.
So I think efficiency and effectiveness goes both hand in hand. If one thing lacks, then there's no point. And when they are allocating budget to certain area or the aspect, I'll rather say they should be more acknowledged about it. If they are giving certain, if we say summits or the entrepreneurship schemes, then they should be more acknowledgement. There should be more awareness.
Okay.
Until and unless there's no awareness, there's no point how much budget they are allocating, how much they are schemes they are introducing. So I think acknowledgement, awareness, and considerations of the factors of the youth is certainly which is need to be.
Okay, so entrepreneurship is an important point that you have made, and of course there's been a focus by the government of India to boost entrepreneurship. While the government is doing a lot for entrepreneurs, for industry, what is it that could be looked at for student entrepreneurship? And I believe that you have some entrepreneurs over here, right? You have a startup of your own, which Bennett University is sort of training you in. Give me a sense of what more can be done from the government side to sort of make sure that entrepreneurship actually moves to grassroots.
So, first of all, hello India. I'm Aditya. I'm from Bennett. I'm pursuing my third year in BTech. I'm holding my own startup, working an internship and working as a student also. So I'm working with different backgrounds. I'm exploring different grounds. Now, I think as an entrepreneur myself, I feel like if government could support us with some funds, at pre-seeds, right now there are few schemes from Startup India through which we can take grants, but the grants would be something like 50 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 20 lakhs. But for initial startups, they just
So what is the
went to
grant that you're asking for?
So I'm asking for some funding which can right now after US, India is growing large scale in the startups.
We're the third largest ecosystem in the world.
Yeah,
and many
I have
startups are also going global.
So I do have some friends in San Francisco. So when I do connect with them, they were like that our government is supporting us with this much amount, and these are the schemes over here.
Right. Coming to your point about the kind of areas that the government must allocate funds to, I would say a major area would be research, specifically in terms of the sciences. So a major issue I find personally with our country is the entire phenomenon of the brain drain system, where we have incredible minds full of potential who often tend to leave our country to go abroad because they feel the facilities there, the kind of resources accessible there that are available to them are much better than the ones we have in our country. And why is that? It's because besides the institutes of national eminence and importance, your IITs, your NITs, your ISCs, a lot of the funding doesn't go to other universities as well. We need to increase the kind of funding we have for degrees besides just your noble computer science, biotechnology, biomedical engineering, mechanical engineering, civil engineering. These are the main foundational courses of engineering in the sciences, without which we can't survive as a nation, even as a global front. So I believe most of the funds should be allocated towards the research area specifically.
So, but let me come to this bunch here. It's been a while since we talked to you. We were talking about, of course, easing the cost of living. Would you propose tax relief for young professionals up till a certain age when they enter the workforce?
I think that there should be certain tax relief for young people when they enter the workforce, because when they enter the workforce, they do not know how to manage their expenses. And big tier 3 big cities like Delhi, Bombay, they don't know. Students have to manage in that environment, and they can't adapt very quickly.
Okay. Okay. Yes. You want to make a point?
Okay, so right now if we talk about settling in with what we are earning, so as a student of computer science, we basically start earning from like when we are 21 or 22. So, and if we have different slabs for the tax returns we get. So, like if someone is earning over 20 lakhs, he would have to pay a 20% tax to the government. And like there's a thing, the students who are like graduating this year and getting into jobs, they really don't have enough time to settle in with the money. They have to clear the educational loans. They have to make themselves settled. They have to help their families.
Okay.
So the thing is, government at least should make a criteria about the age which should be under 25. The tax shouldn't be like completely quenched.
The government has expanded that bracket. You wanted to make a point?
So as we were talking about, the cost of living has increased. Due to inflation, the basic necessities for education prices have skyrocketed. So we can reduce the GST, or we can, include some subsidy for education necessities. I'm not talking about high-end products, but for necessary education products, we can include some subsidies so that others, people who are not able to afford basic necessities, they can get access to it
So
easily.
subsidies is an important point that you have made. You want to, anybody over here, you want to come in on the subsidy offering for some essentials?
I have another point. Government should balance the expenditure and collection of taxes because taxes put more pressure on middle class people and the people who have low economic growth. So government should make a balance between both of them.
So tax relief is something that you're of course suggesting. There was a point that was being made as far as sort of offering subsidies on essentials is concerned. Would you like to make a point about that, and what is your ask of the finance minister on that in that regard?
Yes, so basically, like they've started giving subsidies for electronic vehicles now. So for startups, if the government provides initial subsidies, it's a huge confidence
student
boost.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah, for student entrepreneurs, it's a huge boost to the confidence. Ki, boss, the government is trusting in your vision, so you will put in those hard miles so that your vision is successful. Right. And then if we talk about manufacturing companies and MSMEs, so if government should provide, if government starts providing subsidies, initial subsidies and boosts to them, I think the quality of products which students are consuming with respect to academia, with respect to technology, with respect to the content they are learning will increase in quality. So I feel government should prioritize on those two things according to me, and that's my ask to the finance
But then eventually those will have to be trickled down because you can't really sustain on subsidies. Well, on that note, thank you all, the faculty members and students, for taking the time out and speaking to us here on our budget special on Youth Speak. It was incredible speaking to you, all of you. You had incredible ideas, and we do hope that the finance minister is listening and some of these ideas could be implemented and incorporated in the upcoming budget.
Every business is like a piece of land. From the outside, it looks ordinary. The real truth lies beneath. Dig once, you uncover losses. Dig again, unexpected profit shines back. Sometimes it's the heavy chains of debt. Other times, the break of fresh cash flow. But deep below, traps wait. And if you keep digging, you strike the jackpot. The real metrics, the real value. This is all about your company, where we dig deeper so you invest smarter.
शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में क्रांति लाकर विकसित यूपी रख रहा है विकसित भारत एट 2047 की नींव। वन डिस्ट्रिक्ट वन मेडिकल कॉलेज स्कीम के तहत प्रदेश में 81 मेडिकल कॉलेज किए गए स्थापित।
उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार का उद्देश्य है कि हर एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट में एक मेडिकल कॉलेज होना चाहिए। आज जिम्स ग्रेटर नोएडा ने वर्ल्ड क्लास फैसिलिटीज़ को प्रोवाइड करके इस उद्देश्य को परिपूर्ण किया है और मैं उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार का धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगी कि आज इनने जिम्स में इतनी वर्ल्ड क्लास फैसिलिटीज़ को इतने मिनिमल अमाउंट में करके लोगों की सहायता की।
वन डिवीजन वन यूनिवर्सिटी पहल के तहत 11 नए सरकारी और 23 नए निजी विश्वविद्यालय किए गए शुरू। 668 नए ITI के माध्यम से राज्य में तकनीकी शिक्षा का हुआ तेजी से विस्तार। विकसित भारत की कहानी का आधार स्तंभ बन रहा है उत्तर प्रदेश। विकसित भारत, विकसित उत्तर प्रदेश 2047।
ईटी नाउ स्वदेश बजट यात्रा, जाने देश चाहता क्या है बजट से लोगों की अपेक्षाएं। स्वदेश बनेगा छोटे बड़े उद्यमियों कामगारों की आवाज। महंगे कर्ज की दिक्कत, कंप्लायंस की उलझन। कल कारखानों से बजट पर चर्चा। किस तरह के रिफॉर्म से मिलेगी इकोनॉमी को रफ्तार। प्री बजट कवरेज देखे सिर्फ ईटी नाउ स्वदेश पर। बजट यात्रा सोमवार से शुक्रवार 4:30 बजे और रात 10 बजे।
right, then it's now time for us to do a quick rapid-fire segment with these students. In fact, the request is coming from them only. So, guys, let's start. First things first, budget in one word. The answers have to be very snappy and quick. You can't take a pause. Who's going? Yes.
Opportunity.
Transfer the mic quickly.
Opportunity.
Education or jobs, pick one.
Or jobs.
College fees, fair or too high?
Too high.
Okay. Biggest hope from this budget?
Okay, more opportunities for the youth.
I think job opportunities.
Okay. One thing that students really need now?
Internships.
Quickly.
Loan approvals.
Interest rate of loans should be less.
Okay, all right. AI skills must or optional?
Must.
AI skills?
Must.
Okay. Is the government paying attention to sort of skilling students in AI, yes or no?
Yes, but they need to do more.
Okay, all right. Budget list, wish list in one word. You.
AI. Government health sector and more improvement in aims.
Inclusion and diversification.
R&D, I believe.
Okay, and government's role in employability, is it stronger or the same? Yes, you.
The same.
It's the same. Government's role in employability? Who would like to take that? Quickly, okay.
Same. It is the same. It needs to improve.
All right, so it needs to improve. Well, with that, thank you very much for joining us. It was fun doing a rapid fire, even though I do hope that you had been more rapid. Hi, guys. I'm going to be intervening for just a short while. We are shooting actually a budget special here at Bennett University, and of course we cannot not talk about sports and how important is it for the overall curriculum. But being sports enthusiasts and being pickleball enthusiasts, what are your proposals for the finance minister to sort of give a push to budget, to give a push to sports in this budget?
According to my point of view, pickleball is currently a very fast increasing game. Like, many people are playing in India. It's a very interesting game too. So, like, from my point of view, they've got to conduct more official tournaments from Indian government.
More official tournaments is something that you say ki budget mein hona chahiye.
Like we can recently hear that there is an India Open happening for Yonex for badmintons. So there should be more tournaments happening for pickleball also. We have currently played 2 games, like one in Blue Courts and one in Gurgaon. So I would be asking the Ministry of Education and Sports Department to increase some of the more tournaments so that we can grow.
So more tournaments is something that the government of India should prioritize in this budget. Let's find some more people over here. Let's find these women students who are standing over here. Which are the sports that the government should prioritize in this budget to sort of give some sort of a funding or some sort of financial support?
I guess football. We have seen recently that football team has not given that much of funding, and others like also female football teams, they didn't get that much. And small games, I will not say small, but there are many like wrestlers and others. Like apart from cricket, there are many sports, so I guess they can focus on that.
Okay, so all the focus should not just be on cricket, but other sports as well.
There is this one individual Olympic sport where one female athlete very recently won a gold medal, but there was no audience to cheer for her, and she was there with her celebration by herself, which is like, because there is no awareness, or the government does not support those sports so much that people are not that interested in looking television or going and supporting them in their arenas. For such great sportsmen who win such great deals, they should get more support.
All right, so many more, the government should diversify its focus into different kind of sporting activities. Of course, there is pickleball here, one archery, something that these students have spoken about. But of course, overall, a diversification in terms of interest in sports, that could be given, a push to sports in educational curriculums could be given.